And we're live. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Multiverse Show, episode 52. Guys, it is going to be a great show. We got a lot of cool things lined up. But first, we got to introduce the panel for the evening. My co-host, one of the originators, Fame Entertainment.
What's going on, people? Fame Entertainment here from TICDN.com. Welcome to the Multiverse Show, the absolutely, undoubtedly greatest show on a Monday. Thank you guys for rocking out with us. It is going to be an amazing show. You guys are going to have fun. Hit that like button, subscribe, and tell us how much you guys love us in the comment section down below.
And we got Nick, a.k.a. Undead.
How's it going, everybody? Glad to be on the podcast again on a Monday.
All right, and we got our other co-host for the evening. I believe James is taking one off. I haven't heard from him in the last hour or so. We got Mike.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Mike from the Inner Circle. Welcome to another fine episode of the Multiverse Show, the podcast that's so great that other podcasts are going to be deleted. Yes.
And we got Drunken Master D.
Hey, how's it going, guys? I longtime fan of the show, first time on it, and longtime friend to the Tick family. So I'm honored to be here and can't wait to talk some games and some movies and stuff.
Oh man, Dan and the rest of the crew, we go all the way back to the HKG Dark Ages.
The dark times.
Yeah.
What?
Even the Wii game here, dark times.
What?
Yeah. All right, guys. We got a couple of really cool topics we want to talk about, but real quick, just going into it, Prey came out last Friday on Cinco de Mayo. Who has played it in this group here? Who's at least tried it, or at least a demo?
I've played it. I played an hour and a half of it yesterday.
All right.
I got it in the mail today from Gamefly, and I've got about a little over 3 hours into it.
All right, that's pretty good.
I'm still waiting, fam. I'm juggling too many games right now at once, and so I've decided to slow myself down, and I'm actually going to wait at least a week because you guys know I'm excited for this game. I actually predicted that a reboot was happening way before E3, but I just have so many games going on right now that I told myself I have to wait at least a week and a half before I go and pick it up.
Yeah, man. I totally get that waiting for it. Like, it's just damn good. What about you, Nick? Struggling?
I've played the demo way too many times, which is making me more and more excited for the game once I eventually get it.
Yeah,
but
man.
My main complaint is when the game's $89 at GameStop, you just so hard
Canada.
to justify.
Throw that out there. Yeah, man. So out of the group here, at least if you played the demo, you've played at least enough to get a kind of feel for the game. I can say the final version is significantly better graphically and how it flows than the demo, where it feels a little clunky in the demo. Like they completely smooth that over in the main release. So I can say that much, but give us your first impressions, Nick. Let's start with you.
One of my first impressions, even with the demo, and I know the demo is from a thing they did in April, one they did last year or whatever. It was a demo from a while ago, but the atmosphere is just so perfect, and like I feel constantly on edge. The whole mimics can be anything is just keeps you on edge the whole time. It's probably one of the most intense games that even during the lulls where it's like you're just like walking through places, you're still on your toes because you're like, is that gonna be a mimic? Is that an actual table? Can I trust that? It's wonderful. I love the style of the game. It's like it feels like BioShock to me, and it plays like BioShock. So, and I've been waiting for a BioShock sequel for God knows how long. So I was really excited to play it, and I can't wait to get my hands on the full version.
All right. What about you, Mike? You played less.
Now, I know that, Nick, you were saying that you got BioShock vibes from it, and I get BioShock vibes too, definitely. But I was talking about it a little bit on Twitter today. If you follow me, I'm getting really, really strong Half-Life vibes from this game. I mean, if you think about how the game starts out, and the weapons and the enemies that you encounter, the mimics and the phantoms specifically I'm talking about. I'm just seeing so many similarities to Half-Life. One thing that's annoying about the game is the inventory. I haven't gotten to where you could expand your inventory yet. But as far as the combat, I think it's challenging. I think it's nice that it's not really an easy type of game. It's got a good challenge to it. The story's good so far. I think the environment is great. Like Talos 1, I think that's a great setting for the game. And overall, I've only played an hour and a half, but overall, I'm enjoying it so far. Like I said, really, really strong Half-Life vibes I'm getting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about you, Dan? You played more than the other two.
Yeah, I was hooked on it. At 3 hours, I cut myself off. I was like, man, that's enough. I'm just going to talk about where I'm at and go back to it later. But definitely what they both said, the vibes they feel, I could feel the same thing. It's kind of like, was that a Dead Space? It's kind of got a little bit of the weirdness of like a Dead Space and the creepiness to it, but more feel of like when you're playing it like you're playing BioShock or Dishonored or something. It has that same kind of like control scheme. I like it. I mean, I hate to be that guy that compares a new game to something that's like so many other games are, but it does have all those same vibes to it. And so far, I really like it. I'm interested in where the story's going.
Yeah, and gameplay-wise, it reminds me of Dishonored because there's multiple ways that you could approach situations, like getting around a locked door, for example. You could either find the key card, or you could sneak through a vent or something like that. So it reminds me of Dishonored in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that tool where you can use it to like climb up, like the thing that freezes them or whatever. You get it pretty early on.
Yeah,
I don't know if you get that. Yeah, you can make steps basically to places that you normally couldn't get to.
Yeah,
it's pretty interesting that you can go that route and see different places that you normally wouldn't be able to go in.
That is pretty dope actually. Like I got in some places like towards the beginning, like right after you get the glue cannon, which is like right towards the beginning of the game. Like at the beginning, I used the glue cannon to make a stairway up to the second floor you can't get to unless you repair the elevator. And so I went back there, repaired the elevator, and even then got to some places I couldn't get to with the glue cannon. And so it's really kind of all over the place. You will backtrack, not because you have to, but because you want to. And I
find myself doing that already.
Oh my gosh. I'm having a total blast playing. I'm like maybe 10, 15 hours into the game. I've played, like, it's so well done because they kind of encourage you to use your neuromods to get alien powers and stuff, which is great. But at the same time, they kind of discourage you from doing it at the same time because there's going to be trade-offs. Like there's, well, I'm not going to mention that because it's a spoiler. But like they mentioned this before, like the turrets. The more alien mods you put into your body, the less they recognize you and they will shoot you. You will take damage from turrets you've placed up, even turrets in the area. Like there is a downside to it. You're not just powering yourself up. But it's not like that hardcore Dishonored where you choosing to play one way is bad. It's just you're going to be dealing with a whole other set of problems. So that's kind of where you go from it. And it's a lot of fun. I mean, people do compare it to BioShock. It is similar in terms of it's a survival action horror game. That's what it is. This is what makes a masterclass game for me is like where BioShock, like you could kind of beef up your arsenal, be like fully prepared to go into a fight with a big daddy because it was built around that. But like, Prey is about you not being prepared for those situations. You getting in a scenario where you have to play a little differently than you normally would, or make certain choices you may not have wanted to make. So, like as an example, I got to the scene in the Arboretum, and a lot of the stuff is random in the game. A lot of it's random, like weapon placements, enemy locations, lots of that stuff is just completely randomized in the game. So it's going to be different every playthrough. But one of the areas I got to, there was a technopath. Basically, it's this weird floating thing that controls robots. And I got to that area, and what I found out is it turned off the doors because it's basically an EMP emitter. It blocked out all the electronics in the area, so you couldn't access them, but the robots were still against you. And so I was like, okay, I got 3 shotgun rounds, like 11 pistol hits. I got to get rid of and a recycler grenade, which is dope, and then have to take out 4 robots and this floating thing. And I basically had to make the choice, like, okay, I got to get an alien mod. I gotta have something else in my arsenal here, something to help me. And I made that tough choice. I didn't want to do really that many alien mods on this playthrough, but I had to, out of necessity. And it was great because it made you make choices that I didn't realize the consequences were. And there's other consequences I won't get into because it's more fun if you don't expect it. So.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those games too. For those of you guys listening that haven't played it yet, you can't go into this game and try to play it like a standard first-person shooter type of game, or else you're not going to have success with it. You really have to experiment and think outside the box and use all the tools in your arsenal that the game gives you.
Yeah, I find myself playing more stealthy. Like now, like when I first started, I was running around reckless, and then like the last hour I played, I was starting to get more stealthy going into situations because it can be brutal. Like some of the things that you fight, especially with them, the mimics, they pop up out of like thin air. Basically, they can be any item around you, which is crazy. So now I go into rooms and I'm like punching chairs and stuff.
Oh yeah,
it's like the first thing I do.
Yeah, it really is a blast. Definitely go.
Probably has created one of the greatest internet memes going forward since Synths and Fallout 4 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put on my little banner on Twitter. I thought it was hilarious. I was dying. But yeah, moving on right along, we do have other topics we got to cover today. I am really looking forward to some of these discussions. But real quick, another trailer came out yesterday for Wonder Woman. First of all, before we even talk about the trailer, who's even has Wonder Woman on their radar for this holiday season?
Here's the thing. I did originally. Not saying it's off my radar as if I'm not looking forward to it, but I'm not as excited as I thought I would be. The newest trailer is actually pretty cool. I think one thing that really gets me excited is the music is freaking awesome and it gets you hyped at the end. But I'm like, was I hyped because of what I just saw, or was I hyped because the music told me I should be hyped for what I'm seeing?
Were you deceived by the inspirational music?
Yeah, so I'm like, I still want to see it, but it's not exciting like Spider-Man Homecoming. That I'm really excited. I don't really see anything else I'm excited for Spider-Man Homecoming. So Wonder Woman doesn't move me like that. I still want to see it. It won't be, oh, it's Friday night, let's go watch Wonder Woman. It might be, hey, it's Saturday morning, let's go watch Wonder Woman.
Yeah, Wonder Woman's my make or break movie for the DC universe. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. It's my movie where if this movie sucks, I'm not watching a DC movie in theaters again. Not doing it.
Whoa.
Not even Justice League. I can't.
That's a tall glass.
Yeah.
I liked it.
They have time. They had time to fix it from Batman v Superman. Like Suicide Squad, they didn't really have time to fix that. Really, they tried, didn't really work, but they had time. This one they had over a year to fix it, which is more than enough time to fix a movie, editing, filming new shots, whatever. There was time to fix this one, and I hope it's well done. I like the actors involved. The one thing I'm kind of worried about is, well, not really worried about, but like slight concern is Chris Pine, because I love Chris Pine. Great, Captain Kirk, go for it. But they show him a lot in the trailers. And I mean a lot. Like it's kind of almost way too much. But that's me. I'm worried that they might take some spotlight away from Wonder Woman for him. And I don't know. That's me though.
I think it would have been better received if they would have done her like origin story before she appeared in Dawn of Justice. But It looks all right to me. I mean, I'm more of a Marvel person. I prefer Marvel over the DC movies. Not that I have any dislike towards DC, because they've done a decent job with what they have. But I'm more hyped for Justice League over Wonder Woman.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I will see it though.
Yeah,
So that's Nick, Mike.
and then like for me, you guys know I'm not really like that big in the comic book, so I don't really know too much about Wonder Woman, like her origins and everything. But I thought the trailer, it certainly looks entertaining. I think I felt the same way as Fame after I watched the trailer, because that song in the background is just like so great and it gets you hyped up and want to see it. But
Exactly.
I do think it looks entertaining. One of the things that Anchor, you actually talked about this on Top Shelf about DC movies, was that they're dark. Like not just thematically dark, but visually they're just dark. It's hard to see stuff. And I agree with that 100%. And I kind of feel like, at least based on this trailer, it's kind of going against the norm a little bit
Yeah,
for DC movies.
it does look more colorful. But I noticed this in terms of like where Marvel, what they do is they have a very bright scene, but they kind of like desaturate it a little bit. Like if you watch Civil War versus Avengers, it's like, holy crap, like they desaturated all the costumes. They're not as bright and colorful as they used to be. It's a lot of grays and reds in terms of how the color scheming is. Now, with DC, they kind of put this like a veneer over it. Like, okay, if you ever played Fallout 3 without that green screen thing over it, the little filter, it's boring. Now, they added that over to it because it gave it a different kind of vibe that they wanted you to have. But Snyder in the DC universe, they've done the same thing with every one of those movies. With Man of Steel, they put this steel, a steel, haha, pun, like filter over everything, so everything looks kind of muted, but it's all kind of the same, like monochromatic almost. They did the same thing with Batman v Superman, but they did it more with a just kind of like a shadowy gray over it. And like they're doing the same thing with this one, but it's more of a gold. If you check what colors really pop, it's gold. Gold, silver, bronze, somewhere in that range. Those colors really pop in this movie. So that's what I noticed. Anyway, moving right along to another topic, unless Nick has something to say.
All I gotta say is I have zero hype for this movie just because I don't trust DC with their trailers. DC trailers have betrayed me many times before, and I am in perfect wait and see mode with this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of along the same lines with you are. I probably won't go see this. I probably won't go see this in theaters, to be brutally honest, unless my wife really wants to go see it.
Yeah. Wait, we still need to get her on the podcast. Still needs to happen.
And she can sub me in one day when I sleep in. I'll just tell her, you go do the podcast. I'm staying in bed.
Let's talk about
I'm gonna tell her everything you've ever told me in the game chat about you and your other women.
Ooh.
Oh, no. She watches the show. Fame.
Well, secret's out now.
Well, I guess I'm
Don't you
leaving
have other
tonight.
kids in your life, Nick? Are they too young for you, though? They're really young. Your daughters.
Yeah. I was going to say, well, all my kids are under the age of 2, so.
That's a nice save you could have used. Yeah, I have other women in my life. 2-year-olds.
I have toddlers, man.
All right, guys. Anyway, on meat and potatoes of the show, Phil Spencer. Here we are again. Some more comments we have to parse. Oh, boy. So, let's start off with some of the background stuff, and then we'll get into some reactions in regards to this. Now, this all started with a little tweet it was the Little Nightmares developers. I'm pulling it up right now. This is, let's see. Here. There we go. So the Little Nightmares team posted little pictures talking about like, oh, the critics have spoken, and like showing like, oh, we got 9s out of 10s and 8.5s and 8s from all these big review sites. Oh, look at us, we're doing so good, which is well within your rights marketing. So Phil Spencer responds with, Phil Spencer of Xbox fame, congrats on the really great reviews. To which a certain particular, well, I'm not even going to label him. You can guess by his name, which was Horizon Zero Flaws, responded with, "Seems like Team Xbox and Phil are really pumping this game, even though it's multiplat. Also strange that Metacritic's 6 points higher on the Xbox One version than PS4. It's just like, yeah, to which Phil responded, "I never feel strange promoting great games. You should play it on the platform you own." And
it's a piece of plastic.
Yeah.
People got to take anything and make it into the console war. It's crazy.
Especially when it comes to Phil. They don't realize Phil Spencer, he games, man. But everything he does has to get twisted and manipulated to something that it's not. Everything he tweets gets manipulated by everyone as if he's just not a gamer. He has to only talk and enjoy anything on Xbox. He enjoys any game regardless of platform.
Yeah. What about you, Dan? What do you think about this?
Man, I'm a diehard Phil Spencer fan. I think he's done wonders. I think he will still do wonders. People are bagging on the no game situation, but I mean, with what happened with Scalebound and the games that did come out or whatever so far, I think he's done a great job at the helm. People are always going to twist it, man. There's so many people out there that dislike Xbox and have an agenda to hate on Xbox, so that's all it is. No matter what he says, he could be the nicest person in the world to everybody, and somebody's gonna find something to say he's terrible and a horrible person.
Yeah, if he praises Xbox, oh, shut up, you're supposed to praise Xbox, be quiet. If he says he likes Horizon Zero Dawn, oh, what are you doing? You shouldn't like other games. Or, oh, you like it because your brand has no games. Like, no matter what he says, it gets twisted. He's the only person I know in the gaming industry that gets that type of hate. For no reason besides the fact that he enjoys gaming. There's no reason not to like Phil Spencer. People talking about, like Dan brought about the whole thing about no games or whatnot. People got to realize a lot of stuff that happened to Xbox wasn't stuff that was started by Phil Spencer. What we're going to see from Xbox really starts this year. You can really say, okay, this was Phil Spencer. Like Game Pass. Game Pass came into notion when he became head of Xbox. A lot of the stuff that we're seeing now, and a lot of stuff we're going to see this year, is stuff that he's been working on for the past 3 years. I think this is the sweet spot. This is the year where you can say, okay, now Phil Spencer this shows what he's been doing the last 3 years, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. Because I believe, I can't remember the last Xbox game that was. I'm trying to think the last Xbox game they said. I think it was Recore or whatever was the last of the Dom Matrick era. Mm-hmm. Games that he had put into development or whatever, and anything going forward from that was going to be Phil Spencer's I'm going to say creation or division of property or however you want to sling it anyways. And going forward, I think that's why we have such a gap in the games department, is because I'm not sure how many people seem to understand business. I know a lot of these fanboys don't seem to understand how business works. When you switch the whole head of your company, it kind of sends a gap into what the goal is and what the objective is. And Xbox had a huge shift in 2013, 2012 timeframe. There was a lot of change-ups, not just at the head, but as well as other positions as well. And when you do big changes like that, it affects the company as a whole. So these gaps in games, I truly believe, is only because of contract flip over and everything else. There's really no excuse for games like Crackdown taking so long for us to see anything. It seems they were already in development. Those are kind of topics to get into. But I really think this E3 will be the one that we can either go yay or nay on whether or not Phil Spencer is actually doing a lot moving forward. And I think they've got some stuff up their sleeves for E3 that they're just trying to keep a can on.
Oh, yeah. The moment he went on podcast Unlocked and he admitted, hey, we announced some stuff too soon. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm keeping stuff close to the vest. And we got this big gap going. I just know, I can't say for a fact, I just know that this when E3 drops, they're gonna just bombard us with games. People got to realize Phil isn't just some suit. He was actually head of games development. He's a gamer. So of course his main focus is the game. And I think that's what we're going to see. I think this is the year. This is his third year, so this is the year for the turnaround. This will be the year that we actually see the era of Phil Spencer begin, starting with Project Scorpio.
Yeah, man, I agree with you 100%. And really, you have to respect Phil. I think he's one of the coolest dudes in game with how he actually interacts with his Twitter followers like that, and he interacts with gamers. I mean, there's different schools of thought. We were talking about this. I don't remember if it was last week or the week before, where it's like maybe Phil shouldn't tweet as much because then nobody would have the opportunity to twist what he says and turn it into console war drama. But at the same time, I think that's what makes him so, I guess, endearing, and that's what makes everybody respect him so much, is because he does put himself out there and he does interact with gamers.
And it's not like, let's say, for example, and I've seen people bring this stuff up a lot. It's not like Suhei, Uncle Shu, doesn't go out and tweet. I remember when this generation started, he was big on Twitter, tweeting out, "Oh, let me show you guys the difference between 720p and 1080p." Like, he was all over social media with this stuff, but nobody gave him crap for it, even though he was actually purposely flame baiting with the whole 1080p, 720p nonsense. Phil's just talking games, and he gets killed for it.
Yeah, I have a feeling if Yoshida was making these types of tweets, there would be no backlash or anything from it.
Oh, of course not.
I mean, this is not even really a thing to backlash, though. It's just
right,
like an indie game.
It's just because he's head of Xbox.
Right.
If there was anybody else saying these things, no one would care.
Well, see, you're 100% right on that. It's like whenever any of the Xbox exec higher ups post that they're playing anything, like I remember the tweet where Mike Ybarra posted that he was playing Legend of Zelda, and all the comments, all the tweets, I literally looked through the replies. There was a couple that were like, "Hey, that's a really good game. I hope you enjoyed it." And the rest were, "Well, maybe if you made good games on Xbox, you'd have something to play on your Xbox." And I was just like,
they're only supposed to play and talk about Xbox. Like, other games just don't exist.
They live in a bubble.
You know how many? There's been developers from Sony who get games sent from Xbox, and they post pictures of themselves with the controller playing Xbox games, and no one craps on them about it. Plenty of times. They send each other stuff back and forth, and these companies always talking about games they're playing from other platforms, but only Microsoft gets crap for it.
There's a lot of stigma with Microsoft as a whole, though. I think some people don't actually have an issue with Xbox. I think they have an issue with Microsoft as a whole. There's a whole generation. There's a lot of people in my generation, when I was growing up, hate Microsoft as a whole. So they hate the Xbox brand. They hate Windows.
What has Microsoft ever done for you? And I hate people who say, "Oh, anytime something positive goes out, Microsoft must be money whipping them." Fools, listen. If Microsoft wanted to money whip somebody, things would be a whole lot better than what they are now. Microsoft is not money. People still, it's like the guy from Kotaku who was running around with the whole, Microsoft paid Digital Foundry because they flew him out. So, of course, what he's leaning to is Digital Foundry was biased because Microsoft flew them out. People think Microsoft money whipped Digital Foundry. If anybody was to money whip somebody, Microsoft was to do it, things wouldn't be the way they are now. Microsoft can money whip, but ain't no way they money whipping the way things are now, especially in PR. They can money whip any company they want to make them say nothing but positive things, but they're not doing that, obviously. When you got people at Forbes, like David Thien, whatever his name is, I went back and forth with writing crap articles he writes. My bad, ran over.
game media is not the best in these days lately. I mean, there's some people that need to go back to school for journalism before they write some of these articles.
Yep.
Clickbait.
I agree with you 100%.
Like I said with that guy, when he put Xbox, he wrote the Forbes article. He said that Phil said that Xbox won't be making games like Horizon and Horizon Dawn. I was like, and I went on Twitter and I was just randomly talking, and someone tagged me in my tweet. Basically, what I said was this was a complete lie. Phil never said this. So when she started tweeting me saying, "Well, he implied this," like I'm like, so you're implying, basically saying you're assuming and you're guessing, but in your article you stated this is what he said. And later on, he went back and switched the articles and saying implied, but he was like, "This is my last tweet to you." I'm like, dude, I never want you to tweet to me. I want to show that you're wrong, and I await your retraction. And he stopped tweeting, of course, because he felt stupid because he knew he lied, saying things Phil didn't say. Bad enough his words get twisted. We have writers over at Forbes who want to make up complete crap articles, and then they get called out on it, act as if I tweeted him. I never tweeted him. You tweeted me, sir. You tweeted at me. I'm just saying. Ran over.
And the thing that's frustrating is that it filters into the community too, like the overall gaming community, kind of like this negative stigma towards Xbox. About a week ago, there was this one Sony fanboy. He tweeted out a picture of my buddy Jez from Windows Central. Everybody knows Jez Quartered from Windows Central. He's a cool guy, Xbox writer over there, great guy. So he's got a picture of his Twitter banner of a Scorpio pin, like the purple M. And so the Sony fanboy tweets out a picture of Jez's Twitter banner and says, "This is a disgusting banner. What a loser. How dare you have this in your Twitter banner," or something like that. So I retweeted it and quoted it, and I said, well, a couple things. Number one, those were given out to people that donated to Seattle Children's Hospital. So before you say it's disgusting, know the story behind it. And number two, he writes for a Microsoft site, so it stands to reason that he'd have some Xbox-themed stuff. And it's just things like that where, like, you know, I hate to decry, you know, media bias or whatever bias or stuff like that, but these are things where if Sony did this kind of stuff, or if Sony writers or something did this stuff, you wouldn't hear anything about it. Nobody would be saying anything.
Mike, you notice the guy who tweeted that? I seen it. The guy who tweeted that about the whole M thing. Did you see his header? His header was a Sony product. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what kind of hypocrisy is this? Yep. You're saying this guy, because he has a Microsoft theme header, is disgusting behavior, but you have a Sony themed header and no one's supposed to notice that? These guys are crazy, man.
Yeah,
hypocrisy runs rampant in the gaming community.
Yeah, it does. But we know how this rolls. It goes back and forth. This happens all the time. Like we're not fair towards one group, then we're unfair towards another, and it's just I don't know. It happens a lot though, and frankly, it is just tiring.
You know what? You know what tires me the most is people trashing Multiplat games so they can hype up exclusive games now. I saw a Twitter feed this morning, and someone, I will not name names, they probably watch this show, so I'm gonna get a direct message about this. But they were like, I don't know why anyone will want to play Prey when you can play Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm like, okay, first of all, there's more games than just exclusives. Second of all, there's so much wrong with the mindset of some people. Like I have a friend who is, I'm going to say, a pony of a pony, because he literally, all he plays on his PlayStation 4 is exclusives. He has no multiplats, nothing, just exclusives. That's all he buys. That's all he plays. And he's like, these are the best games that were ever made. I'm like, good games in there, but there are some great multiplat games you're missing.
No, that happens. That happens though. Like that's totally true. Like what was it? Whenever Mass Effect was coming out, Mass Effect had a couple issues, to be fair, but it was like people were saying, "Oh, Mass Effect's gonna be trash. It's trash." Like Mass Effect was far from trash. It was a pretty good game. It wasn't as good of a BioWare game as it should have been, but it wasn't trash by any stretch of the imagination. But it was just so funny. Like it was like, oh, this is trash next to Horizon Zero Dawn. It's like two very different games, man.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing though, is like it always has to be about bashing stuff. And I like when I got into like the whole social media gaming, like I didn't get into this stuff until like 2015. I started getting into like social media gaming. I just play. I was a more Xbox guy and everything else, but now that I own both and everything else, I'm more about games. I really don't care what the platform is. I prefer to play my games on Xbox. I could buy a good majority of my Multiplats on Xbox because I like the controller, I like the system, and most of my friends are on Xbox. That's why I mainly play Xbox. But I'm more about the games. Like, and when people start complaining, like I saw something about port begging, and there's this whole online stigma about different communities asking for games to come to their consoles. And at the end of the day, if exclusivity wouldn't be sad, because there's some really great games that if you don't have the financial ability to go and own 2 consoles, which is 100% understandable, I want more people to be able to play games. Like the more games, more people that can play games, the better. And the more people that can play specific games, like if Prey was, say, an Xbox exclusive or something, that's something I want my PlayStation friends to be able to enjoy too. It's one of those things of like the more people play a game, the more people you can talk to about that game. And I feel like we wouldn't have so much social media backlash at each other if Horizon Zero Dawn, we'll say for example, was a multi-platform game. I think we wouldn't have seen anyone taking shots at it, or everyone would have been like, "This is a really great game. Now we can move on."
Horizon Zero Dawn is game of the year. That's a great game,
man. All right, Brett, brief segment here. Let's talk about it based on the games you played this year that have come out this year so far. What is your number 1 game of the year pick? Do you pick one game?
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Right, we heard about that. let's go to our guest real quick. Dan, what's your pick? You had to pick one.
Oh man, that's tough. This year, Horizon Zero Dawn would be up there definitely. It's one of the best games this year. If you're into RTS, Halo Wars is good. It gets ran through the reamer though, because not a lot of people are fans of that genre. It's nice to see a new RTS game. Same with Dawn of War. Dawn of War just came out on PC. I'm a big RTS fan, so yeah. I also want to give a shout out to Ghost Recon. Ghost Recon, people hated on it because it's Ubisoft. It's actually a really fun game, and it's got endless amounts of stuff to do in it. I don't think it'd be game of the year, but it's still a good game. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. All right, Nick, where you sitting?
See, I started Resident Evil 7, and it's really, really good. And I'm going to say my game of the year right now as it sits, because I'm still currently playing both, it's a tie between Resident Evil 7 and Horizon Zero Dawn. I've got to give them credit in Horizon Zero Dawn. I am 23 hours into that game, and I still feel like I'm barely on the surface of that game. I got to give them credit for that.
And there's story DLC coming. Yeah, buddy.
And that's literally the only reason once I platinum the game, I'll still keep the game. Yeah, it's definitely a tie there for Resident Evil 7 and Horizon Zero Dawn. Both fantastically made games. Like, this year's been really, really good right out the gate for games. And what's nuts is we're only in May. You know, you start talking about big games, you know, like fall time period, but all companies have been dumping games like constantly on both consoles. It's been great. There's so many games to play. I'm used to looking at my backlog in spring going, well, I guess I'm going to beat this game. Now it's like, man, there's like 6 games coming out next week I want.
Oh, dude. You know why? You know why that is? Because their dev cycle started when these consoles came out. We're sitting on year 4 here. Well, really, technically, or year 3, if you don't count 2013 as being a year. But because 2014 was technically year 1. Like, these games now are on 3-year dev cycles, and now they started when the hardware was available. So now these games are built for the hardware and taking advantage of the hardware. Like, and not just in terms of the actual power, but conceptually pushing boundaries, doing things differently. It's a blast, man. It's so much fun. And if I had to pick my game of the year, it's hard right now because I got a lot of games up in the air. I got I got Mass Effect in the air. I got Horizon Zero Dawn in the air. I got Prey right now. I got a lot of stuff I haven't finished. I gotta finish these games before I can render a verdict on any of those. Legend of Zelda I played about 2 to 3 hours of, and that's just a great game. Like I gotta give respect to that game. It's amazing. I had a blast just in the 2 to 3 hours I played. That's just a great game, man. But I can definitely say I have my number one contender as of right now.
Oh boy,
Snake Pass.
All right, guys, that's been a multiverse show, episode 15. Great having you guys with us today. We really appreciate it. And
I'm gonna have to make a montage. We're gonna have to montage the amount of times that Fames had to like shut this show down because of on these games, man.
I know, right?
Dude, the thing is, I'm not even kidding about it. Snake Pass is so well designed, and it's so, oh my gosh, it's just such an amazing game because it's funny because it came out like 2 weeks before Yooka-Laylee, and everybody's attention was on Yooka-Laylee. Like, oh, this is the Banjo-Kazooie successor. We're finally getting the game. Like, I think it's Banjo-Kazooie. It really is just a 90s game, a 90s collectathon puzzle platformer, and it's okay. Like it didn't really try anything different. It's like we're gonna copy it and paste it just so we have something. Like it really is. It was really kind of disappointing to me because I was hoping they would learn something from the 20 years we haven't had a game like that. And I don't feel like they did. But Snake Pass, I actually consider more of a spiritual successor to Banjo than Yooka-Laylee because it's two characters, unlikely friends and that kind of stuff. But at the same time, you're doing something unique. When was the last time you ever played as a snake?
on my old Nokia phone, I played Snake.
I was actually going to say that too.
The thing is, though, I play. When you play the first levels, it is difficult. You have to get your mind in that groove of like thinking like, okay, I coil up this, I grab onto this, I kind of slither my way over here. You have to really think about it, be very deliberate, and you'll still mess up all the time. But like towards the end, like you're doing some like high flying tightrope walking, and it's crazy, and you're just like barely getting by. It's so fun. It really is quite amazing, and it is in my game of the year contenders list. It really is that good. I strongly urge you to play it. It is amazing. I love it.
So we're gonna give that the Multiverse stamp of approval then.
Definitely go and play it. It is in my personal game of the year contenders list. I got to finish up a couple of things before I can throw anything else in there. I will say other games that are likely going to make that list: Prey and maybe Horizon Zero Dawn. I got to see how it ends first. So
just remember, everybody, Anchorman V2 recommends that you play the Order 1886 and Snake Pass.
Yes, the Order 1886 is a better game.
So this is why I miss the original Anchorman. I don't like this V2 guy. Weird, man.
No, man.
Weird.
I'll say it again. I will say this every podcast until I can get it done. I would rather have the Order 1886 sequel than a dozen Last of Us sequels. I'll say
remember that pass I said that you had earlier before the show in the pre-show, Anchorman? I'm taking it back.
Oh boy. Anyway, guys, last topic for the night. We got to get moving. Darksiders 3.
Oh, I didn't even care what I have to say.
No, we don't care what you got to say, Mike. Hurry up. All right.
All right. So it's between two games for me. So I'm about 25 hours in a Breath of the Wild. I think it's awesome. It's an amazing game. I see my man Cognito in the chat. I gotta say right now, my game of the year is Resident Evil 7. I mean, it's close, but Resident Evil 7 so far is my game of the year.
Yeah, I gotta play that still.
I gotta give the developers of Resident Evil a lot of credit. They really you take a look at Resident Evil 6 and then go play Resident Evil 7. They literally rebuilt that from the ground up, and it was so well done.
Mm-hmm. All right. So real quick, moving into Darksiders 3. Darksiders 3 got announced last week. I'm so excited to do it. Oh my gosh! For those of you that don't know, Darksiders used to be done by a team called Vigil Games, which is part of THQ. And THQ went out of business, and they sold off all these IPs. And they sold off the Darksiders franchise off to a company called Nordic. And Nordic's been sitting on this thing for quite a while, and I've been wanting a new Darksiders. We haven't had one since 2012. I've been wanting a new Darksiders for so long now, and we're finally getting it. The story continues. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited! But real quick, who cares about Darksiders here?
Advice,
I think the
$20 on Xbox there for both games that they've got on sale right now. So I'll let you know after the weekend.
I picked it up today as well.
$20, both games, remastered too.
Okay, see, I have the first one. I have the first two, right? I think combined, I paid $10 for both. I played the first one and it sucked. I didn't like the controls. I just felt like I just didn't like the game. But I'm gonna try Darksiders 2 because I heard it changed a little bit from the first one. So
yeah,
I'm gonna try number 2 and see if I like it. And if I don't like it, there's no way I'm buying 3. And I cannot stand one. One of the worst like $4 I ever spent.
Yeah, Darksiders 2 is one of those things where I played it in the right mood and got really into it, and I like Darksiders 1 more than Darksiders 2. But like Darksiders 2 is better on paper than Darksiders 1. It's just when you start playing it, it's like it just doesn't feel quite right. Like if you didn't like War as a protagonist, then you will probably like Darksiders 2 more. Most people who like Darksiders 1 better is mainly just because of War, but that's a side thing. What about you, Dan? Where are you sitting on this?
Today I watched, there's like that 10-minute gameplay, pre-alpha gameplay that IGN put out for it. And that's what made me go pick up the remasters for $20 because my stepson's a big fan of him. He played both. I played the first one. I never played the second one. And I mean, I liked the first one. I didn't dislike it. And actually, I think I did play the second one, just a very little short bit of it. And then he took it over and took it from me. But yeah, I'm going to replay through them now. And the third one looks good. Like, I mean, it looks, if you guys haven't seen it yet, go watch. IGN has pre-alpha gameplay footage and it's clean. It looks good.
Yep. See, the thing is, like, that whole series is really kind of like a Legend of Zelda clone. But it's more of like a mature setting than anything else with like actual voice acting. Like it's got this like really metal kind of vibe to it. It's like it's post-apocalyptic. There's demons and angels fighting for supremacy, and then you got the Nephilim and the Charred Council and all that cool stuff. The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and now they're adding the 7 deadly sins. Man.
Yeah, there's the boss battle at the end of the gameplay footage they show with Sloth, and that looks awesome. That's what sold me. That's what sold me today on going and picking up the old ones and playing through them again.
Oh man, they had some really good boss battles too. Like I think Darksiders 2 had like the giant golem, like literally you had to ride up on a horse and then jump up it like in Shadow of Colossus. Oh my gosh. When like Darksiders, I remember fighting the Bat or Tiamat in Darksiders 1. Beyond that, then the Stygian. Oh, like there's so many metal names to this. It's all over the place. It really is a blast. It's a lot of fun. It's a really cool art style. Definitely go and check it out. It's $20 up until now. I think till August. It's $20. Get both games in a bundle. It's great. Go pick it up. You haven't played it. Even if you have played it, go pick it up. Show some support. It's going to be awesome. All right. We're kind of coming to the end here, but briefly, I want to talk about something I didn't tell anyone about. Call of Duty World War II. What's everybody's thoughts on this? Anybody getting this game?
Yeah, that's a day one on Xbox, fam. We back to boots on the ground, so I am there. And y'all better be there too. Otherwise, we are no longer friends on the show. I'm just saying.
Booty's on the ground.
Booty's on the ground, fam.
Day one on Xbox One over here.
All I wanted them to do was go back to boots on the ground. All I wanted. And the fact that they're doing it makes me happy. I'm sick of jetpacks and dashing and superheroes swooshing through the air. I'm sick of that crowd. I just want boots on the ground. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I'd say day one for me. But it comes down to the beta. I'll play the beta. If for some reason I don't like it, then maybe I'll change my mind.
If any of y'all get it on PlayStation and don't tell me, we're going to fight. Everybody needs to get it on Xbox so we can all click up and play. Because Anchorman knows I hate playing with randoms. I hate playing people who suck at Call of Duty. It bothers me to my core.
And if you're not playing with us, don't be in the party with us.
Facts. We will leave your party in a heartbeat.
Yep. All right, man. I'm so close to getting it, but I need, like I said, I need to see it. I need to try it. I need to see what the deal is. I can't. I've been burned by Call of Duty in the past. I gotta know. I gotta know for myself that there's not some secret jetpack in there.
In 1945, after raiding a Nazi lab.
Did you hear? The Allies were developing jetpack technology back in 1944.
Hey,
Yep.
You know what? I want them to put jetpacks in the World War II one. I want so that if you use the boost jump, there's an 80% chance you blow yourself up.
Yes, I like it.
It's a pretty cool mechanic, actually.
Do it. I want to play that.
Experimental.
And actually, you know what? I want to see kids doing the boosty jump jetpack thing with bolt action rifles.
Oh, gosh, that would be really dope, though. Call of Duty steampunk. The steam burst jump. Oh my god!
I'm not gonna lie. One of the reasons I'm really looking forward to them going back to this era is one of my favorite Call of Duty multiplayers, and that's because I played it really early on. Was World at War, because it was so much fun. Because like in now, and even I noticed in the COD 4 remaster too, it's like, just grab an assault rifle and you'll have a good time. But like back in like the World War II Call of Duties, the machine guns were kind of poop. And the rifles were where it's at. I can't wait to get back to 5-clip rifles. That's going to be fun. But there's going to be some stupid supply drop weapons. It's going to be like, oh, he's got a barrel-clipped M16. Wait, what?
And I think this game is coming out at the perfect time, too, because if you think back to last year, there were so many good online first-person shooters that came out last year. I mean, you had Doom, you had Overwatch, you had Titanfall 2, you had Modern Warfare Remastered, Battlefield 1. This year, there's really not much else in the way of competition for Call of Duty this year. So,
yeah.
Actually laughing because it's funny because, last year when Call of Duty did their announcements with the Infinite Warfare and the remaster, everyone was like, man, I hate Call of Duty. They ruined it. Everything sucks. No. They come out with World War II one. Everyone's like, yeah, Call of Duty's great. It's been great. Everybody loves Call of Duty. It's like, wait, what?
Well, so they're finally listening. Everyone's like, we don't want to do this. We don't want to do this. They're like, yes, you do. Yes, you do. 3 games in a row.
Now, see, I actually prefer more of a modern shooter, but I'll take World War II. I really prefer if it was a modern shooter today, 2017. I would prefer that, but I'll take World War II over us being in the future and everyone's augmented and we can dash and behind people and all that crap. So I prefer a modern shooter, but I'll take World War II over this future crap.
But I did like Black Ops 3 though. I thought Black Ops 3 was a great Call of Duty. At least
it didn't have all the dashing and crap.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Call over. Anyway, guys, we're gonna wrap things up here tonight. It's been a lot of fun.
Before you wrap it up, I just want to give a shout out to Forza players out there. The Hot Wheels DLC comes out tomorrow. I've been patiently waiting for it, and DLC of the year right there.
Dude, when they announced that, I was like, wow.
I'm not gonna lie, it's awesome that you brought that up because I have very little interest. I think the last racing game I played was Need for Speed Most Wanted on my GameCube.
Yeah.
And I sat there, I was looking at Forza. Forza's been something I've been looking at and going, nah, I think I'll wait. And then they were like, Hot Wheels DLC. I'm like,
Man, I will tell you straight up, even if you're not that big in the racing games, Forza Horizon 3 is kind of for everybody. Like everybody will find something they like in it because it's open world. You really get a choice in what you want to do versus what you have to do. And the learning curve, I mean, it appeals to everybody from like a low level all the way up to like the highest level of racing. So it's a good game. I'm a diehard Forza guy, as you can tell.
How much is that DLC popping for expansion? So are we talking like 30, $40 or
I want to say
like 25.
I want to say they're $20 a piece.
$5 a piece? Oh,
I think so. There was an expansion pass for 30, but I don't think they offer it anymore. Where it was Blizzard Mountain and this one before it was named.
I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah, I watched 3 hours of them playing it today. They hosted it live on Beam. Some of the Turn 10 guys playing it, and it looks great. It looks like everything I played as a kid was like 10 years old playing with Hot Wheels and tracks and stuff are now going to be in my Forza game, and I can actually drive cars around and do all that on it. So that, I mean, I'm gonna be cheesing on it probably.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, it was a blast. I really do appreciate you guys showing up. Also, new thing for next week, just so you guys can anticipate it. It's going to be a cool new feature. We're going to try it out. A new option called Versus. Now, it's not what it sounds like. It's not a battle per se. It's going to be a cool new segment we're working on next week. We'll get into details next week for you guys now watching. I'll inform the cast after we split. But it's been an absolute blast. Thank you guys so much for coming on. We'll do our outros real quick, starting with our guest, Dan. Tell everybody how they can find you, what you do.
I am Drunken Master D on YouTube, Twitter, Xbox, Steam. Not going to talk about PlayStation because they don't like the word master. Yeah, that's where you can find me, or you can find me on Facebook in the Xbox One group, just titled Xbox One. And thanks for having me. Big fan of the show. Best podcast on a Monday. And yeah.
All right, and we got our co-host, our first co-host, Fame.
My bad. What's going on, guys? Thanks for rocking out with us for episode 52. It was a hell of a show. Just so you guys know, make sure you guys check out the Double XP podcast, which is a podcast I hope podcast I host. It goes live on my channel every other Wednesday, and then it goes live on the Tick channel the following day. And make sure you guys check us out on Podbean and iTunes, where you can catch all of our Tick shows, and you guys will not be bored throughout the day because you guys love listening to us. Yeah, buddy.
All right, and we got Mike.
All right, what's going on, guys? It's Mike. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for another episode. You could find me on the Inner Circle and also ahead of Nick at the moment on the Xbox leaderboards.
Ooh. Nick, you made a powerful enemy to this week. Nick, did you realize Mike hasn't played all those games I was running neck and neck with you 2 months ago? He hasn't played any of those games.
And see, I haven't rebuilt my Easy 1000 gamer score stash ever since you and me went head to head. So
yeah, and you know what happens?
I knew this was going to catch up with me eventually because I sat there. My work's like, oh, we're working 6 days a week. I'm like, I should not have talked all that smack on Twitter. Oh boy.
Yes, I talked to your boss.
Hey, man, I need Friday night off. Kind of talked a lot of smack on social media. I need to get my gamer score up. Okay.
All right, and Nick, time for do your outro bit.
Okay, thanks for everyone for showing up to the show. It was a great time as always, and you'll be able to catch me on Beam this Friday night. I'm going to be either playing some Call of Duty Black Ops 2 or indie game I picked up to sleep. So yeah, you can swing by probably around Friday and watch me get scared out of my pants.
All right. And you guys know me, I've been Anchorman V2. You can find me on Twitter, games, whatever. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Beam. You can find me on Twitch, YouTube, Xbox, PlayStation, all of it. Same name across the board, Anchorman V2. You guys check us out there. We're having a good time. Ask me some questions about whatever. I'll be on. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming out. This show will be up on Podbean and iTunes and the rest of it shortly. I do thank everyone for showing up as usual. As you know, this is Multiverse Show, episode 52, the greatest show on Mondays. We are out of here, boys. See ya.